Welcome back to Dheya Coaching Academy presents Career Guidance Series, The Journey Towards My Dheya. Today we have with us another young and talented entrepreneur, Mr. Paras Kulkarni. He started a t-shirt company named Peach a Clothing in 2017 as a sole proprietor. He eventually started as a retailer and then he converted into wholesale business. At present, he is into customization of apparel, printing, and embroidery. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Yes, all good, Raina. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Sir, at this young age, how did you decide that you want to start your own business?
So it's quite a long story, but long story short, I would say like t-shirts were something that I was really passionate about since day one.
Okay.
Like different sort of designs and a lot of things.
Right.
So back in college itself, we started. We changed the model quite a lot of times, like from here to there, as per the market conditions. And yeah, that's how the entire thing happened.
Right. As a student, what was your schedule? Were you this studious kind of person or used to not study at all? What was your schedule? Or were you more focused on sports? How was it?
So the thing is, I was definitely I was not a studious kind of a person at all. It's just that it was very difficult for me to manage college and the business both because like I had like from 8:30 to 5 was my schedule, and post
Right.
that I had to do everything. And
Right.
since my university was a deemed university, so I think I had to like maintain a minimum attendance of
Attendance.
75%. Which was again a big task, like per semester, per 15 days, per subject was the criteria. So doing all of those things, I did this, and
Right.
it just happened.
Right. Why did you think that in college itself you should start this business? Why didn't you wait for the entire college to get over and then you can get into business?
Mhm. So back in college, like I said, like it was an idea that was there in the mind, never
Right.
into the execution part. Apparently, like you correctly said, like so we started into retail initially, which was t-shirt with motivational quotes. This was back in 2014, so it was like a hot topic. And I started with that, and eventually got to know that people wanted their own kind of prints on their t-shirts. But
Right.
today the technology has definitely gone quite ahead.
Yes.
Back then that was not the case, and then we had to switch entirely from retail to wholesale. And yeah, that's the entire transition that happened.
Right. So this the retail to wholesale transition that happened, was it your choice or was it the compulsion that had taken place?
Now the thing is, again, like I said, so we switched quite a multiple times. So initially it was retail, then into wholesale. Again, we went back to retail, wherein we started our own menswear retail store, and then again we switched back to wholesale. So the thing is, retail to wholesale, I won't say it was a compulsion, but then see, the thing with retail is that there is a lot of dead stock that comes into picture, right? Like
Right.
you have to invest a lot, and then eventually people need new designs, and they need a lot of variety and different colors, and there are like 1 million things to look for. So wholesale was something wherein we knew that plain t-shirts are something that even if we stock it up, some or the other day they are going to go, irrelevant of any factor, because all the prints happens usually on the plain t-shirts only. So I'd say like not exactly a compulsion, but then an opportunity that was found during the retail part that we completely switched on.
Absolutely. What interests you most in this apparel industry, embroidery, printing? What interests you the most?
So there are a lot of how should I say, like untapped and untouched kind of things that are yet to be entering the Indian market. I won't say anything specific as such, wherein it could be embroidery or printing or even apparel, this thing. But I'll say customization as an entire as an entire subject, if we consider. So that is something that I really like that really interests me, because even today also you can see like majority of the brands, like I'll say like the big brands, so they are also into getting into customization, although they're charging a bomb, but then it gives you that personalized feel, and like it is the need of the, like, customization is the future.
Right. Absolutely. Have you faced any difficulties while entering into your business, or were there any challenges that you had to face?
Yes, there are like I can go on and on about the kind of challenges that are there. But yeah, so I'll just like quickly tell you both about retail and wholesale as well.
Right.
I'll start with wholesale. The thing with wholesale is that see, it is very easy to procure t-shirts and everything, right? Like you just dial up probably Intermart or any person like that. The biggest challenge that comes into picture is finding the actual distributor that is there. So there are 10 different people who are selling products, but then those are at 10 different prices and the brand is same.
Okay.
Like specifically in a city like Pune, we have like I would say like 7-8 different brands that constitute 99% of the markets, 99% of the orders. So now it's like say for example, like the Coaching Academy wants to get like 10 t-shirts, and now you guys call up Just Dial. And now like say I as a vendor, I give you a call back, and like me there are 10 different vendors who are giving you a call back. We schedule a meeting, I show you the products and everything, and now you get to know that everyone has the same brand. It's like everyone's selling Nike. So now you are the king because you're like, it is the same fabric, everything is the same. Now the entire thing comes into place. So finding the actual distributor and the price point is the biggest challenge in wholesale. Finding the distributor is the biggest challenge, and because to get to those contacts or those connects takes quite a lot of time. And with retail, like I said, dead stock, variety, and the fact that Indian market is price oriented. So a lot of us, like keep that thing aside, but then that is one of the most important things, because Indian market being price oriented, it is like how should I say, like people value price over quality in general. I wouldn't say all of them, but then in general. And then like you sell a shirt worth like 700 or 800 rupees, and suddenly people are popping up and they're like, we get a branded shirt like a Levi's or something like that online, which could be a first copy, which could be true, we don't know. But then that is like it's crazy.
This mindset is really difficult to tap.
Actually, but the thing is, how should I say, like even if we look at things around, so you'll see like a lot of places, like I wouldn't say all of them, but then majority of them, right? Like you look at initially it was more supermarkets that came into picture. Then there was Subiksha, which actually dominated. Then came Big Bazaar, which were more offers, a lot of things. And now it is DMart that they are selling at such levels that even Big Bazaar is gone, kind of. So yeah, price is the biggest challenge.
Biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
As you said that contact building is really important. How did you go about building your contacts?
So the thing is, we went to Bombay, we checked out in Pune. Eventually, we were dealing with resellers of resellers only, because it was like these guys don't, like the actual distributors don't exist on Google, or like they just don't, you don't get ready information like that. So eventually with time things happened, but then what I'll suggest is that someone who really wants to get into say wholesale, so there are a lot of printers and embroidery guys and a lot of these people around, and boom firke, like eventually all these products get to these guys only for printing or embroidery. So these guys have the actual data that is there of who the distributor is, like what all things are running in the market. So I'll suggest that someone who really wants to start up, probably they can approach these guys, and with time they will definitely reveal all the things. And with retail, what I'll suggest is that, so there are a lot of fairs. So for example, in my case, like for retail, so there is one particular organization called CMAI, which is Clothing Manufacturers Association of India, and they have their fair twice in a year. The biggest fair is in August usually. Now because of the pandemic, it's not happening. Actually, it is happening, but virtually. But in person, so there are like over like 300-400 different suppliers for men's, women's, and kids. And I myself, I've like gone like about like 1,000 suppliers, visited all of them in Bombay and Pune. And yeah, for retail, that is the only scope that is there.
Okay. For this labor market, how difficult is it to find the appropriate labor market? They have a lot of issues related to rates, working hours, like what I have heard about it. So how do you manage with this labor market?
So the thing with labor is that, see, there is one is skilled labor and one is semi-skilled labor.
Yes.
And the problem with skilled labor is that we don't find them directly. These are associated with units and a lot of things where we have to contact the units directly. the semi-skilled labor comes into picture, who charge like, so they usually charge like per garment. That is how the entire like general industry works. So it is per garment stitching charges. There are different sort of charges. Very difficult to find. See, the problem with Indian market is that we have all sorts of, how should I say, like we have all the fabrics readily available. We have all the printing techniques available. But the problem is because of this price competition, people don't invest in good machinery, and then the finished product is an issue. So usually the finished product is exported, and in the labor particularly, this thing very difficult to source labor. But then I'll suggest, if you come across any labor, don't leave them. They are like, they change the entire this thing. So.
Right. How much approximate investment is required if you want to enter into retail or into wholesale? Of course, it depends upon how much scale you want to get into, but how much minimum investment is required for it?
See, for retail, there are again different things in retail as well. So, for example, if you really want to get into e-commerce specifically, like say t-shirts, hoodies, and a lot of athleisure kind of stuff that is coming up today. So there are provisions wherein you don't have to make any sort of investment. It's a little bit more expensive as compared to the normal traditional approach, which is wherein you stock. Like you invest like say 3-4 lakh rupees, and then you stock up, and then you sell and do all that sort of stuff. Or else there is something called as print on demand, which has now come into picture. So those guys actually print only when you receive an order online. So the thing is, you don't have to stock up. It's just that you have to create a lot of how should I say, like digital designs, upload it on your website, and the moment a customer comes and clicks on your website, like add to cart and buy now, that order is from the backend is placed to the unit. And then the unit prints it at that time and they dispatch it. So in that case, your investment comes down to like only on the marketing costs, right? Like website development and marketing. So you don't have to actually stock up. In fact, print on demand is something wherein, like you have unlimited access to all sort of color. Now someone likes white with black print, the same print someone wants like blue with golden, some sort of size. So now stocks and, coming like stocking all those things, and those things don't come into picture. So that is something that is new. So in that case, there. Otherwise, in the traditional brick and mortar store, or if you go by the traditional approach, then I think sky's the limit. At least like 5-7 lakhs to minimum. That is like bare minimum, I'd say. And in wholesale, what I'll say is that again it depends if you are going to be a distributor or if you are going to be a trader. Now, if you're going to be a trader or a vendor, then the investment is like hardly like 2,000-3,000 rupees, wherein you get the samples. That's all. One sample set, and then you get the orders and you take the payment, and only then you proceed. And if you are actually getting into distributorship, then I think at least today, I think it's like 50 lakhs ke niche, so there's no one who's actually giving a distributorship. A good brand, I would say.
Right. In order to understand the various fabrics, does academics play a major role in this? Have you done any other courses related to this industry?
See, fabric is something that you'll have to feel it by hand.
Yeah.
Like you cannot actually go with the traditional specific. Definitely, like you can check that what kind of material it is, what is the GSM and all those technical specifications. But then with the same specifications, they are like you keep 10 different fabrics, and then you won't realize that which is what, and like what exactly is happening. So usually the feel is the most important part, which comes with experience. Even today also, like I've been doing this for almost like 6-7 years, and I myself, I don't get a lot of fabrics in one go. So it's a part of this thing. Definitely one can, get some sort of courses and all those things. But in a country like India, honestly, wherein we have so many people around and so many things around, I don't think one would actually need a formal degree to, get into this.
Definitely. How do you solicit your customers?
So you're talking about like retailing customers, or
yes, both. Like even for wholesale distributors as well as for retail direct customers, how do you solicit them?
See, so the thing is, again, there are different approaches, there are different methods that come into picture. Mostly, particularly with retailing customers, I would say like a lot of things come into, like word of mouth only for me.
Yes.
Then, that is so for wholesale, things are really different as compared to retail trade, because your entire 1 month sale in retail is wholesale's only one order sale. It is like that.
Yes.
So eventually, for someone to trust a person, like they're spending, say for example, 1 lakh rupees on one bill, and then like, so the trust factor, there are like a zillion things that come into picture as compared to retail. But yeah, definitely, like sky's the limit for n number of approaches. There are some people, say for example, for brick and mortar stores, so it totally depends as to how you showcase your entire how should I say, like your store. Even you could go to as deep as in which flow is the traffic going. So for example, you have a road touch shop, and then the traffic is going from, say, right to left. Now the fact is, if someone's on a bike or even in a car, so they are not actually going to look in this direction, right? They're going to look diagonally. So where exactly is your shop located? Whether it is at the center, at the very initial, or at the last. Then, if there is anything that is actually blocking your shop's, how should I say, like your frontage or so, your view. And even the way you present board, and it's like 1 zillion things that one could look for.
This is absolutely an important point about the area, the location where you have your shop. The online shopping today has increased a lot, but has COVID situation affected your industry as well?
Yes, definitely. So the thing with COVID is that how should I say, like so for retail it is like it's too bad. Like even people in the main markets are now coming on the hooks, because they are like, it is very difficult to sustain, to be really honest. And there are no occasions, there are no events, there are nothing happening, so people are actually not purchasing, and the entire consumer behavior has changed. In the wholesale also it is the same. It's just that companies, like big companies, have their own budgets. They still have it, but then because of that work from home, no one buys how should I say, like printed t-shirts just to give it to their employees, right? It is done for a specific purpose, like people are coming together, or maybe it's Diwali or something like that, and it's just an art of getting people together and clicking photos. That is the main purpose of getting t-shirts, and now that very own purpose is defeated because of COVID. So it's
right. Could you share some of the experiences what you had with your customers regarding their expectations? कि मुझे ऐसे ही चाहिए, इसी print में चाहिए, ऐसा ही करना है. Have you faced such situations?
The beauty of Indian market is that like you have all sorts of customers. Like imagine like 100 130 crore people, like the entire population. So it has its own pros and cons as well. Cons are definitely like it's like unlimited. Pros are also there, that we have so much data to research on, like so many things which is very difficult for the outside market to judge. The thing with customers is that how should I say now, like it is very difficult for me to how should I say, like segregate which one. But yeah, like there are some specific set of customers who eventually give orders to us. But then there are so many complications that like we need this sort of color, and it's I mean, at the beginning of the order, if one specifies, then that's a different scenario. But then like just because they are giving us the orders, and then there's a lot of how should I say, like money at stake. A lot of times these people don't, like there's some companies that have their own policies wherein they don't give advance payment. They give it at the end of the month, or the specific days wherein the payment rolls out. So now what happens is that these guys place the orders. I won't name those companies, like multinational companies, but then like they've placed the orders, and then at the very last moment things have come up, like say there's a hoodie, right? So the lace that is there inside the hoodie, so there's only I think a half-inch this thing, like half-inch stitch that was that came out. And the lace was visible, so it not actually came out, it's just that it was missing that half-inch stitch. And the lace was visible from the inside. So now that's a very petty issue, but then I think it's a product fault, so as ready to replace and do everything possible. But then I think they almost halted my payment for I think roughly about 10 to 12 days only for that one particular scenario. And it's like an order of 700 pieces, and it was terrible. So it's crazy.
Right.
And
as you said,
please. And the thing with markets is that you see, because there is so much competition and there are so many players that are coming into picture now, suddenly the customer has that mentality that ठीक है, मतलब they can bully a lot of businesses, right? I'm talking the offline business. Online,
Right.
they know, like I've seen so many people who are actually ordering, like they want to go for a party, say on a Saturday night, and then on the Wednesday night they are ordering. On the Friday the shirt comes up, and these guys, you know, wear those shirts on Saturday nights, and then on Sunday they are returning it to the Flipkart or whatever that Amazon this thing is, and you know, like they're getting the money back also, and it's just serving their purpose. So because of this flexibility, you know, like for offline retailers it is terrible.
Right. As you said that price consideration is an important criteria in Indian market. For reaching your break-even point, which is easier, the retail business or the wholesale business?
Honestly, I would say wholesale, to be really honest, because in wholesale you have very specific this thing. Now, specifically in t-shirts or hoodies, I would say, like you have certain set of colors, 10 colors. There are different types: round neck, collar neck. Then there's cotton, there's dry fit, which serves its own purpose, and it is very easy for you to get into the rotation. Definitely, there are different things like credit and all those things which come into picture in wholesale as well. But I think for retail, you know, like something you buy and then it's difficult for you to sell, then I think, you know, it once that stock becomes dead stock, then that is a big challenge, because for you actually have to, you know, like how should I say? So for example, in clothing, there are things like there's a certain set. So anything you buy, you have to buy in multiples of 3, like, and in different sizes. So it's like medium, large, XL usually. So you have to buy for shirts and all those things. So general market will buy medium sizes, and then your medium stock goes down, and then you realize that, okay, I out of say 50 pieces, I have only 10 pieces of I'm sorry, yeah, I have only 10 pieces of you know, medium stock that is left, and then if you have to restock it, then you have to buy the entire lot of medium, large, XL. So that is something that is very difficult.
Right. There are many business owners, many business entrepreneurs. They say that we are doing business, we do not need to understand the finances. The finance guy will handle it. So how important is it for every person who's doing business to at least understand the financial terms or the accounting terms?
I will say that as a first time owner, like nothing with how should I say, like with zero experience or zero background as such, I will say that get your hands into everything, every aspect of the business. Only and only then, once we focus on those macros and micros, I think things will be very easy for them to, you know, get all of those things right. So finance is something that is the, how should I say, like, I wouldn't say the backbone, but the actual this thing, you know, it is the heart of the business. Without which the entire business can, you know, it can collapse, go up or go down.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that is definitely.
Yes. For the students who want to enter into this apparel industry, what are some of the pointers that you would like to suggest to them?
Focus on quality, but then don't get into that level of quality wherein, you know, it is getting into a lot of premium things. I will say if that is the target, definitely go for it. But then you also have to keep one thing in mind, that you have to have that sort of budget wherein you'll have to market that 1% of the 1% crowd. Because it never happens that you come up with, like, say 5-10 lakh rupees and then suddenly you want to start selling t-shirts for like 7,000 or 10,000 rupees, or even for that matter, even 2,000-3,000 rupees, wherein your customer, instead of going to Tommy Hilfiger or Calvin Klein, is actually coming to you. And you know, irrelevant of the fact that you have the best quality, customer acquisition cost is the most important. So I'll suggest that start with something really basic. Start with something that has that can be easily consumed by the market. And there are certain how should I say, like certain trends that are easily accessible today because of Instagram and a lot of places, wherein so for example, like a lot of gym wear, athleisure, which is what we call. So that is coming into picture. So those are like high margin products, even caps for that matter. The caps are something that, you know, very like a simple thing, but then you have like huge margins. So look out for those sort of products which have good margins. Competition, I'll say, I wouldn't say like competition is less. Competition is there everywhere, specifically in apparel. It is like literally everywhere. But then I'll suggest that do your research thoroughly and focus on price, which is the most important fact. Like I've learned it the hard way. I focused on quality, and then it is like crazy. Like people, general janta doesn't want quality. So I wouldn't say like ekdam crap quality, but then at
Huh.
least go for something like
You can
decent.
balance between both your quality and price as well.
Exactly. That's right.
Yes. How did you come up with the name, the brand name Feature Clothing?
So the thing with Peach Clothing is that how should I say, like so initially we were like three of us, three of the founders back in college.
Okay.
Eventually, two of them with time they quit for their own reasons, and then that's how the entire thing happened. So back in 2014 when we started, three of us. So we literally made some sort of chits, like because we are not honestly. I was the one who was like really not interested in getting a fancy brand name or giving importance to the branding.
Right.
Eventually it is the products that is going to make your brand. Like you look at things around, so things like Google and all these things are definitely sounding fancy today, but then back then when they had started, it actually made
They
no
were
sense,
not.
right? The
Yes.
use of that product actually made their branding. So I think that was the thing. So we made some sort of chits wherein we put in unlimited ideas, the names of the brands, and then we just made that entire this thing, and we picked out one, and then just happened. So it's like that.
Wow. Paras, as a child, I knew you as a very different personality, and today you've grown up to be this poised, composed, sorted kind of person. How has this taken place?
I don't know, to be really honest, because it happens with time. The thing is, a lot of times when you really fall down and then you get back up and you have things that you do on your own, right? Particularly for your own company, you learn a lot of things the hard way, and then it just changes you. I think it changes you as a person over the time.
Definitely. Do you think that your friend circle matter when you're entering into your business, or whenever you're choosing a career, your friend circle or their opinions, their impacts, do they matter?
To be really honest, so business was something that was never in my mind. I'll say like even my family background, all my relatives as well, no one has a business, right? Like everyone's into a typical job, this thing. Rather they'll go out abroad for their masters or something, but they won't actually get into a business. So that is the kind of background that and especially like my dad is an IITian and all those sort of things. So in terms of business, there was no influence as such for me. But then to be really honest, luckily the people that I was surrounded with and the kind of people that you look after, like I want to become like this or in general, right? So luckily those are the kind of people that I had my surroundings with, and I think that had a big impact on me over the time.
Right.
Definitely.
What are the opportunities that are present in apparel industry today and in the near future?
Okay, so I'll say like DTG, that is direct to garment, which is now entering markets quite a lot. So I think that is something that is the future, because that gives the opportunity for any retailer or wholesaler not to stock up. DTG one thing. Subordinate is DTF, which is direct to fabric, more or less the same. And in terms of athleisure and everything, that is definitely there. There's a lot of things that are yet to take, how should I say, a switch in the customization industry, because what's happening is that in the customization industry, like in India, there is negligible because people are not paying up. But as long as people are actually going in abroad and like exploring a lot of things and coming back, I think customization is yet to change the entire course of the industry.
Right. As you must have already seen, students in this generation are a little laid back because their exams are postponed and their online teaching, virtual teaching. This has really hampered their way of learning, their way of understanding. So they are not a little more career oriented like we were in our times. So what would you suggest to them? Is career important at this point of time, or can they think of it later on?
See, again, I will honestly suggest that the pandemic has given a really great chance for everyone to explore a lot of things online. Things that were actually not happening online are now today happening online. Specifically, like I said, with the garment fairs. So earlier you had to yourself go and visit those sort of fairs. And then, that was the only possibility. So today, all these fairs are happening virtually, and most of them are free. So any particular you're on topic of interest, I think this is a great time, at least to begin with the research, because now suddenly all the resources are at your screen.
Right.
which were earlier, like very few were there available. So now it's like you have ample of opportunities. Definitely, I will say, like, don't start anything right now or right away, because we are yet, like very uncertain about the
Unstable,
future as
right.
to whether these lockdowns and all these things are actually going to happen it again, or what kind of a wave is going to come into picture. But then at least with the research part and coming to a lot of conclusions, I think this is the best time to at least begin with the initial research.
Absolutely. Do you think such business you should start as a sole proprietor, or you should hire a partner, or you should have a company? So what is the best structure of organization for such kind of industry?
So there are a lot of mixed reviews that come into picture online. Specifically, if we see like a lot of people say that you're not into digital marketing, so why would you do it and hire the best and all those things. I think it totally depends on your budget first. What kind of a budget you have. You have a good budget, then definitely you can have those dedicated teams. If you really want to start from scratch, then I think one has to learn his own hard way. And I think that is the best option, because then you will get to the macros of how you can save costs in the longer run, and you get to know the functioning of every particular area. I'm not saying like deep, but then at least you'll have a gist of what exactly is going on, that okay, this is social media marketing, this is what happens. Although you might not know, say, SEO and all those things, or probably coding and all those things, but then at least you'll have the gist of what exactly is going, and what in the future, say for example, if your business does well, then I think you will definitely know that what exactly you are paying for, whether it is really worth it or not. And that is the most important thing.
Absolutely. What are your future plans of expansion?
So honestly, right now I'm a little bit on the back considering the COVID scenario, because a lot of things that I had planned to were eventually taking a lot of turns. Because this particular customization industry is all dependent, like specifically in the t-shirts and the hoodies segment, it is all dependent on events and tournaments and a lot of things wherein people come together. So maybe I'm gonna see for a certain time as to what I can do, and then maybe I'll take a call. Definitely, there are a lot of things that have come into picture. So, for example, with a lot of printing techniques, like I said, DTG is one of the things that has actually come into picture. There is one more taken place, which was the entire course of the customization industry. So embroidery in demand is more like print on demand. It's just that you do embroidery instead of print. So now embroidery is a little bit more expensive, but I'm having my eyes on embroidery on demand a lot.
Yes, you have to tap the opportunities right now.
Yeah, that's true. I'm doing my research, to be very honest, attending a lot of fairs online.
Right. Paras, what is your dhyaya in life, and have you achieved it?
So honestly, nothing specific as such, but then with time, it's like connecting dots, because there are certain small goals that are happening.
Right.
And then it is, so I won't say like, I don't think I'll ever achieve my dhyaya, because it will be always a modification of the existing one. Because no matter how good you do, eventually you look out for the best, and then it's a never-ending process. But yeah, definitely I'm satisfied with what I'm doing. And
absolutely. The last question for the day: if a genie had to grant you one wish, what would it be?
Oh my God. So I will say that that wish specifically would be changing the entire Indian consumers mindset from price to quality. My most important thing, because I swear, like I've seen so many people around, and like so many restrictions are there only because of one factor, that is price.
Absolutely.
You want to do so much, but then the market in general is not willing to pay that much, right? So it's that is, even like you'll see, like even the you look at people around. We have now, that is again a good and a bad thing. I wouldn't say it's a totally bad thing, but then we always tend to look at price tags, no matter what. Even if we are buying a normal t-shirt, but then we check the price tags, and then we compare 10 things. I'll get this, and then online I'll get it at this rate, and why should I spend this much and that much?
Right.
But then a little bit switch of getting into the real quality, that okay, the stitching is good, or maybe like the fabric is good, something like that would change a lot of things.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Paras, for sharing this abundance of knowledge in the apparel industry today with us. Thank you for sparing so much time with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ravina. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot.